Hey you guys, it is the absolute most perfect time to be in the garden right now. I cannot wait to share this video with y'all. So I just fixed the most perfect cup of tea. Y'all know that I am on this herbal tea kick right now, and with the weather change, this immunity blend is so good every single day. Like every single day I'm drinking this and it makes my heart so happy. Let's talk about these loofah for a minute. I did pick these two off of the vine before we had another hard freeze, and somebody said that I should put it on a wire rack, or that's what they did, and they just rotate it. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been rotating this, and so it feels like it is pretty much dry in there, so that'll give me some more loofah seeds. I know so many of you guys sent an email and I got you. I'm so excited. We're all excited. It's going to be a fun surprise, so I won't ruin it. But this one is still very green, and we're going to see if we cannot get it to dry in the greenhouse by just rotating it. If not, if it starts to look like it wants to get moldy or something, I'm just going to go ahead and pick it. But right now, since it's solid, I'm just going to leave it and see if we cannot dry it out in here. But this one looks like it is ready to be, let's see, now I'm so curious. Let's see. Oh yeah, y'all, it looks dry in there. It's dry in there. I'm not going to pick this one all the way because my girls really want to see this process. And so now that I see it's dry, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it. Tell me if you've ever done this. When we were small and it was Christmas time, me and my brother, we would sneak and open some of our Christmas presents. I know one year we did this. We sneaked and opened them and then taped them back up. And when Christmas came, my mom said that she knew that we opened them. I was just small. I was just following the leader. And obviously he did not have her wrapping skills. So he totally butchered wrapping them back up. And I'm pretty sure it was his idea. So anyway, let's go ahead and flip this over and let them open it from this side. The last video I told you guys that I put this window on top of our trays right here to try to germinate some spinach. I also put some beets on one side, and I just took a peek under here and it actually looks like a mold, which is so bizarre. You see that hair? Why is this growing mold? It's so furry. Okay, that's something that I've not ever dealt with before. That's interesting. Huh. So this is the spinach on the left side, and this is actually some beets that I planted because I've had a hard time germinating beets, and there's mold. So have you ever dealt with that? Just dealing with our fall right now. The temperatures are all over the place, so that may be it. I tell you one thing, figuring out how to use the greenhouse in the most effective way is definitely trial and error, and it definitely requires experimentation as well as just being experienced, like, you know, over time, just figuring it out. And so yeah, this is going to be a very interesting discovery indeed. So I came out and I harvested so many collards. I was so excited about it. This is actually my first time growing this many collards. If I'm honest, collards aren't one of my favorite vegetables. I don't hate it. I'm just never like super wowed by it. So I didn't really have a desire to grow a lot of it. So this is the first time that I've really grown in this abundance. And I am going to show what I do with it in this video. Like I was telling you guys the last time, I really wanted to change the layout of that space. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And what I wanted to do was harvest the leaves of the collards as well as some of the cabbage and then see if it would transplant well. I didn't know if anybody had experience with that, because from what I read, you're really not supposed to transplant your brassicas once they're full grown. So I am going to show you what it looks like today, but first I want to show you everything that I accomplished yesterday. So I found that these beds are actually really simple to move. What I do is I just really push against that metal siding and loosen up that dirt that's inside of there. And once it's loose, I just pull up and I'm able to take the whole entire bed off while leaving the soil intact.
Whoa. You okay? Go away. Oh my goodness, that is such a big spider. Wow, That is such a big spider.
Look at this spider, y'all. Spider is so big. Oh my goodness. It's huge.
Shiloh, I just saw the biggest spider I ever saw. It was gray and it was thick. It was big, like, but it was thick. I feel like it was, thick? But like thicker, way thicker than that one we saw yesterday. Way thicker than that. Where was it? It was right here. That's that. That was a Mickey light. You know why you put a bag in there? What did you do to a plant? Huh? What did you do to a plant?
What I do to it? What does this do to it? Oh, that makes sure that it has, like when it gets wet, it absorbs the liquid. It releases it slowly so that the soil stays moist. And this makes it, the soil drain nice. So it's still very much so a construction zone, but what do you think like of this new layout? Like, I feel like that it's just so much space that's opened up here. I love the 2 round beds entering into the garden from this section. I think that that is going to be so lovely. I left the middle bed with those carrots because there's really no other place for that bed to go. So I figured I would leave that in the middle. And then I put our 2 birdie beds at the end with the broccoli still in it. I did not get that broccoli harvested and it's looking pretty droopy. Let me show you. So this Brussels sprout looks good. Doesn't look droopy. It transplanted well. It's looking very beautiful. Even these little sprouts, they don't look bad. They look good. opposite side, same thing. Everything is looking really, really good. Just laid everything down to try to hold everything down with some bricks while I was waiting for our landscape pens. The cabbage that I put over here is looking really nice. And then we get to our sad broccoli. I don't really know how to combat this. I kind of wonder if I should cut all the leaves off. But then, does broccoli grow naked without leaves? I don't know, because I don't have any experience with that. So this one looks pretty good. It's not as droopy as, say, this one down here on the end. That one's really droopy. And I am going to harvest these heads because I do feel like I need to give it another chance. This one actually is standing up pretty straight. So I'm thinking that I just need to harvest the heads possibly. Maybe that will maybe cut down some of the leaves. I did take the bottom leaves off because I really didn't want any of the leaves touching on the soil. But I just don't know if that has made enough difference. And this bed is pretty much the same. This one looks really droopy. So does this one. I guess out of this bed, this one is the best. And y'all, what did I find whenever I was transplanting stuff? A spinach. Look at that little spinach sprout. And so I just picked up the whole piece of soil with the spinach in it and plopped it right there. And we'll see what happens. Yes, this is what this space is looking like. And I love it already. I already feel peace. And it's not spring yet. I just feel so much peace. Like with this layout, I feel like I'm going to have an abundance of space to just maneuver around. And I'm not going to be tempted to overplant. Well, maybe just a little, but I feel like this is going to give me so many options as far as like what I want to do. And I will not be able to plant 100 tomatoes like I did last year. I'm going to plant just what I need that I feel like is manageable, y'all. That is a big thing, especially when you are developing your space and you just feel the need to plant as much as possible. Don't do it if you don't have time to take care of it, because it's just not being a good steward of what you have. And I want to be a good steward. And so I feel like I need to make some changes, but I feel like it's doable. And if at any time it's necessary for us to grow more food, I feel like I can do that too. It probably wouldn't feel like too much if I put another, like a third birdie bed right here in the middle. I feel like, I could handle that. I feel like I would still have enough walkway in between. But for right now, I'm not going to put anything there. And I'm just going to focus on running our irrigation lines and then laying down our gravel, whichever one comes first. Cook the most delicious meal with those collards, y'all. Like, it was so good. I was so happy about it. Everybody enjoyed some organic greens from the yard. There's just nothing like it. And I think because they were not extraordinarily big, that they're actually pretty tender, and I didn't need to boil them to death in order to make them edible. I only sauteed them and they turned out perfect. So here they are, looking very beautiful. What I did was I put them in a pitcher with some water and some vinegar to start to clean them off. And then I simply just rinsed them off with a little finger scrub underneath the water. And I did this for each one of the leaves to make sure they were really clean. And then after that, as you can see, they look so beautiful. I was just so happy with the way that they looked, especially because I know that the work that had to be done in order to preserve the integrity of each leaf. We completely grew these organically, not even using any organic spray, not to knock it. I'm just saying that we didn't. And with that, it just takes a lot. Like you have to make sure it's covered up. You have to go out there. If you see any bugs, you have to squish them. It's a more of a hands-on approach where it's kind of like a daily thing and you're making sure that everything is okay. So I just really am so proud of these greens, if that makes sense. Seasoned them up with some mushroom powder, salt, added onions and garlic, and y'all know it was smelling so good. I also prepared this chicken to go along with it. And let me tell you, it was a match made in heaven. Yes, that is brown sugar, y'all. I seasoned that chicken with all the basic goodness: garlic, onion powder, some salt, a little pepper. And then once it was all nice and done, that's when I added some brown sugar. I typically like to make sure to add something acidic when I do sweet, but you will see what I add to the greens that really make this whole dish come together. You have the salty, you have the sweet, you have the acid. And when you have all of those components coming together in a dish, I really think that that's truly what makes our taste buds sing for joy. The final ingredient for these greens, red wine vinegar, and it set those greens apart. Let me tell you, topped the chicken on some rice, sat down as a family, of course, gave thanks for our food. Y'all, we were so happy. Everybody was completely happy with the meal. The kids appreciated those greens, y'all, which made my heart so happy, my mama heart. I've shared my vision with this space, talked it out. Some of you guys really appreciate that, and I appreciate you for that, because I'm just over here just trying to work out my thoughts. Sometimes I'm like, what am I thinking? And just processing out loud really helps. With that being said, I could have really used some advice. So this is the entrance, right? One of the entrances right beside the greenhouse into the garden. All of that's going to be gravel. I don't know if I want to keep that box there, fill it all back up with soil and plant something inside of that, or if I want to get rid of that and just plant like beautiful flowers, like some dahlias and some zinnias. Like, do I want to see flowers when I come through, or do I want to see the box? And I don't know. I actually really don't know. And I'm also going to be planting some more fruit bearing things. So I want to plant some more blueberries and grapes. And so I'm like, do I want that to be a grapevine? Do I want to set that up where beautiful grapes can grow there? I mean, it would be beautiful. It would be green. So yeah, so I'm just in between flowers, grapevine, berry patch. You know, if I do the grapevine or the row of berries, then I won't need that box there. It's just a lot to fill up. It's really is. This soil is a lot. Almost empty. If you remember, this is where we had all of those surprise sweet potatoes, as well as lots of basil, grew some tomatoes here. It was really full and beautiful this last season, but I'm just wondering if it's going to serve our family like that this upcoming season. And so we used this soil to fill up the beds, and it was great. So now I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to do with that. I'm thinking about clearing this whole path right here. It just seems like it could just be so open and clean. And I'm debating if I want to use this space just in a better way. And so I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for joining me in the garden today. I appreciate you guys so much. Until next time.